There has been word of crisis of European democracies long before the recent financial and economic crisis kicked in. People were hinting at low voter turnout, for example. People were showing that the big People's Party were eroding, and you had populist parties emerging to the left, to the right, more recently more to the right than to the left. A lower degree of trust or whatever. So when you were reading through the op-ed articles of papers, you were basically confronted with that kind of diagnosis long before the current financial crisis kicked in. And for long the European Parliament has been struggling, as you probably know more than I, that saying this is powerless, teethless, not really representing the Europeans. And I think that the most insulting of these judgments came from the German Constitutional Court, stating that the European Parliament is not representative because the constituencies are uneven, and the deputies from Luxembourg are representing much fewer people than the representatives of Spain or the UK or Germany. It occurred to me that if this were true, Germany would never be able to sign a treaty with the United States anymore, because for state treaties in the US, the Senate is responsible, and guess how many people the two senators from California are representing as compared to Wyoming or Vermont or Connecticut, where less than 1 million people are living. So if this judgment would hold true, Germany would have to leave NATO, for example, on the spot. Because the NATO treaty was signed apparently by the US Senate back in the 1950s. So, but this has been a popular vision. Now comes the financial crisis, and we can ask ourselves what has changed. I think it's important to understand that there is a fierce fight over resources, both at the domestic or national level, but also at the European and Eurozone level. You have more populists even entering the stage, either being new parties emerging or parties moving more to the populist side on that. So, which means promising simple solution to complex problems, which can only create frustration, because that's easy if you're not in power, but once you come into power, it's very difficult to deliver easy solutions to complex problems.